To introduce our speaker today, I will call upon Brian Gilbert.
President Craig, fellow Rotarians and guests. Put your hand up if you've ever been in the Barrie YMCA for recreation purposes. Maybe it was to work out like Arlette, or a spin class like George Cameron, or for me it was swim lessons. All 5 of our children have learned to swim at the YMCA. And that's what the YMCA means for people like us, the privileged ones in the community. It's about recreation. But the YMCA does so much more for the community, for the people who have needs and are less fortunate than us. So today we have 2 speakers from the YMCA to talk about what services they provide in the community and to share their good news, which is we're getting a new YMCA for Barrie. So I'd like to introduce Anna Cheney. She's a past member of this club, so welcome back. And she's a volunteer with the YMCA. She's a co-chair of the Capital Campaign. And Brian Shelley, he is employed by the YMCA. He's their vice president, and get this title, he's vice president of philanthropy, marketing, and communications. Isn't that amazing? So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Anna and Brian.
Thank you so much, Brian, for the introduction, and thank you all so much for your time today. We're just delighted to be here, and I do have a special memory of, my time here at Rotary, which was back in 2000. I actually had my daughter while I was a Rotarian, and she still has her bear. That was presented to me when she was 6 months old, before I was promoted and transferred to Toronto. So Rotary is a fixture on my daughter's nightstand, and so I just have great memories of our time, and so nice to see so many faces. Anyway, thanks again for your time today. We will take the next 20 minutes, and we're going to tell you a little bit about our new Barrie Y. Really a center of community, a community hub that we hope will be part of Barrie and the region for many, many decades to come. To kick off our presentation, actually I'm going to share a very short video, and we hope that the technology will actually work. Really it features our past and current leaders. We're going to tell you a little bit about their thoughts of what the Barrie Y has meant to the community. So without further ado.
I'm Janice. I was the last mayor of the town of Barrie and the first mayor of the city of Barrie. I was on council for 27 years, 12 of those as mayor.
And I'm the mayor of the city of Barrie.
The reason the Y is so important to me is because it is part of that strong foundation upon which the city was built, and is part of the community that has grown up with me. This Y is just a wonderful place where I can meet people of all ages.
Building a caring and inclusive community is the reason why we need the YMCA.
The Y in its growth is not just the Y that my kids went to. The Y, as I see it in the future, is going to be able to fill a lot of the holes that we are now experiencing in the downtown and in other places within the community.
By virtue of being at Dunlop and Bradford Street, you can hardly imagine a better location when it comes to access by transit, access by foot, the sort of centrality of the location itself, and as well the other facilities and services that are in the area that the Y's clientele will be able to benefit from.
It's important to all of us. The Y is a great place that anyone can come to. The Y has grown over the years, and they've outgrown their present site. The idea that they're going to be in the downtown is just the absolutely best idea. I'm really sorry to have lost my Central Collegiate that I went to, and my father went to, and my kids went to. But to have a Y out on some of that Central Collegiate property makes me feel good again.
Thank you for watching the video. We're really pleased that Willard was able to participate. May I say it was his last day at the Y after almost 53 years of daily visits. So if that isn't an inspiration to us all, I don't know what is. But so we're just thrilled that he was able to join us. So Janice Laking talked about the Y providing a strong foundation for people of all walks of life and all ages. And in fact, the Y's been doing this for over 100 years, and I'm not sure how many people know that. So I'm going to spend a moment or two talking about our history. In 1907, we were actually located at what is now the Farmhouse Restaurant, and it was actually called the Railway Y, and I'm not sure how many people are aware of that. And what did we do? We provided housing, recreation, and literacy programs for the railway workers. And what's interesting is we've been doing this for over 100 years. And like Rotary, which has a long international history and legacy, the Y also has an incredible legacy. And I think you're going to be surprised about what we're known for. We're actually the founder of basketball, volleyball, structured childcare, swimming lessons, and supporting education. And in fact, helping to establish some of Canada's largest and well-known universities. We've evolved over time, our programs have changed over time, but the one thing that remains is we are still the largest youth organization in the world. And something to be very proud of because we're represented in virtually every single country across the world. I've been on board for 9 years. I've been volunteering for 10, and I was chatting with Brian about that earlier. And I've gotten to know this organization extremely well over the years. And I'm absolutely amazed at the impact that the Y has had on people's lives, and particularly on our youth. And most people think of us as a gym and swim. In fact, when I ask people what we're involved in, that is really what people know. But what I'm here to do and to share with you today is just a little bit about what you might not know. And in fact, we find that we're educating more and more people about what it is that we do in our local community and what the impact is that we're having. So today, we currently provide services to over 80,000 people across our region, and people from all walks of life and all ages. Some things that you might not know about us, I know that you can read about us, but we are the largest provider of licensed childcare in the area. We actually are co-located in 50 schools. So we're the people that are thought about when childcare is a question in people's minds. We operate a youth services center out of High Street. And again, most people don't know that we do this. We don't have room to operate it out of our location at Grove Street. But out of our High Street location, some real magic happens. And our youth services staff is incredible staff. And they provide counseling services, they provide employment services to youth that is deemed to be at risk. We have outreach services that are provided to them. And we do things that most people don't know about. We help people graduate. We have one of the lowest high school graduation rates in our region relative to the rest of Ontario. So we help young kids make sure that they get their high school education. We help them get jobs. We help them start businesses. And all of this happens in our one location there at High Street. We provide immigrant services for new Canadians, including English as a second language and settlement services. And we try to make our health accessible to all. This is how you know us. You know us for our health and our aquatics and swimming lessons, but you don't know us necessarily about some of the programs that we actually offer that are unique. We offer special programming for seniors. We offer things like wheelchair basketball. And we partner with RVH, here, to deliver a cardiac rehabilitation program and also a program for oncology patients. This has been an incredible, really a great partnership where people end up staying and become healthy for life. When we talk about accessibility, and this is something I'm really particularly proud of, accessibility is a word we use a lot at the Y and Y. What does accessibility mean to us? It means that not a single person is ever turned away when they come to our doors at the Y. And that's a pretty powerful statement. So for example, in our Barrie Y, 30% of our participants are actually subsidized for the programs that they're able to access. And I think Brian said it best in his opening comments. These are folks who have a need and would not be able to participate otherwise. So we're incredibly proud of our mission and our core of providing accessibility to people. One of the other things that makes our organization unique, and I know as taxpayers you're going to love this, is that we are a self-sustaining charitable organization. And that means a lot in this day and age, especially with the pressure that charitable organizations are coming under to become and stay relevant. And we operate as a social enterprise, so also again what that means is that we have to run our businesses in a responsible, sustainable way. That has been an incredible asset to us as we have been going out to our community, our partners, our government partners, etc., particularly looking for funding at this particular point in time. And finally, we employ over 1,200 people. That makes us one of the largest employers in Simcoe County, and we are one of the largest employers of youth, together with our partner in the back at McDonald's being another large youth employer, so we're incredibly proud of that. So if I could just have this, thank you. So you might be asking, why do we need a new Y now? Well, I don't know how many people have walked into our Y grocery, or that you're laughing. Yeah, it's, you know, it's tired, it's done its work, but most importantly, it's just not meeting the needs of our community. And that's the biggest reason when we started on this journey about 9 years ago, when I was on the board at that time, when we started down that journey of looking to build a new Y, what did we do? We said, okay, we know the community's changed, let's go out, we did our research, we did our strategic plan, we talked to stakeholders, we talked to actually many people in this room about what we thought the community needed. We talked to other organizations that we partnered with. And really, our community has completely changed. Our needs are different than they were 50 years ago when that building served its purpose. There are some pretty disturbing trends out there, and I'm sorry to be a little bit of a downer here, but and I know that you know these trends as well as I do. But in Simcoe County, relative to the rest of the province, we do have a higher incidence of cancer and cardio disease. We have a higher incidence of youth who say that their mental health is either poor or fair, and we have a higher incidence of youth homelessness. Now, again, I'm sorry to be a bit of a downer, but these are the reality of some of the stats. And I'm only giving you the highlights because certainly we could share more about where our region sits relative to the rest of the province. And this is creating some very, very different needs. The Y is one of the few organizations that focus on prevention. And I want to just talk a moment about that because it's such an important uniqueness. When we focus on prevention, we instill habits that lead people to make healthier choices. And I know we were chatting earlier, you know, we're parents, right? And as parents, we look at, you know, what choices are our kids making? What is impacting those choices? And as Brian said earlier, we have the ability to go out there and search out the options for our children. And it certainly is taking a village. Maybe it's always taken a village to raise our youth, but I think we're finding more and more it really is taking a village. And not all people have access to that village. And of course, we know that if our youth thrive, families thrive, then our communities thrive, and it becomes a cycle, and hopefully a positive cycle. We've been going out and telling our story for the last 2 years, educating people about what we do, and we are finding more and more feedback coming back that prevention is critical, and programs and organizations that are doing prevention work are coming under pressure. They're coming under pressure for resources, and some organizations are simply becoming irrelevant to the youth of today. So we have some true stories to share, but I'm going to end off with this particular slide. So actually, Brian is going to share some of the many stories about the fact that we do change people's lives. But we have better and better research all the time, and I'm happy to share just some of the research today. So the Y in Toronto is actually one of the world's largest YMCAs. And I'm very proud they do unbelievable work, and they're involved in all areas where there are community needs. But they just shared the most recent research with us because obviously we're trying to measure the impact of what we do. We know it's there, but measurement is so important. And if you'll notice on the slide, one of the things that the Y has found in their new research center, which they had just instituted and established at the Toronto Y, they have basically went out and researched and said, okay, if you have a connection with the Y or have had a connection with the Y, they measured 3 things to see where people stood, whether they had a connection or not a connection. And, oh, I'm sorry, I just have the previous slide, thank you. overall, generally, they found that people who had a connection with Y, they had higher general health, they had higher levels of mental health, and a higher satisfaction with life overall. And the impact is quite significant over all ages. So just to end off, before I turn it over to Brian, the feedback from our community has been incredible. And I think the message that we're getting loud and clear is that the Y is needed now more than ever in terms of what we do around prevention. And I'm going to turn it over to Brian, who's going to tell you a bit more about the actual project itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. With that video with Willard, Janice, and Jeff speaking on our behalf, and kind of volunteers like Anna, I kind of feel superfluous. Thank you. I have an English degree from Queens, so it doesn't speak very well for that. I guess I can't remember that word. But thank you, Anna, for speaking so well and so articulately about the impact of our YMCA. And I am here as a paid employee of the Y as opposed to a volunteer, so I'm here to speak about the nuts and bolts of the project itself. If we can move to the next slide. So what we're calling this project really is we're building a new kind of Y. And it's a new kind of Y because of the way it's operating and where it's operating and the impact it's going to have. Typically when we talk about building a YMCA in the past, we talk about the impact it's going to have on the members and the people who are served through the YMCA programs. What's exciting about this project is it's bigger than that. This is about an entire community, it's about an entire neighborhood, and it's about many organizations benefiting. We can go to the next slide. But if we start and we look at the YMCA programs, the YMCA at its nuts and bolts is the programs we offer. We will be delivering health, fitness, and aquatics for all ages and abilities in this new YMCA. And this is critical in this neighborhood because the Barry's Urban Growth Plan calls for 26,000 people living and working within the downtown core within the next 10 to 15 years. There is no plan for a municipally funded recreation center in that neighborhood. So if we're going to have 26,000 people, roughly the population of Aurelia, living within 2 to 3 blocks of Dunlop Street, we need to have programs and services for families to make sure that they can live healthy and engaged lives. We'll be expanding our programs for children and youth, and all of our youth services programs that Anna spoke to will be moving into that location. So that's our youth counseling programs, our youth employment programs, our youth entrepreneurship programs, as well as day camps and other programs for children. And then as always, we'll be working with community partners, with the community itself to expand and change our programs to meet the needs of the community. And YMCA has been doing that for over 150 years across the world. I mean, YMCA started off in the business of Bible study in church basements. If we hadn't evolved, we would no longer be probably in business. So we continue to evolving to meet the needs of our changing communities. Next slide. We're also excited, though, that this is going to be a true community hub that's going to benefit YMCA programs, but also the programs of our partners. So RBH will have their cardiac rehab program based in this facility. So with our honorable MPP here, I mean, this is truly putting an end to hallway medicine, in that instead of cardiac rehab happening in the basement hallways of RBH, it actually moves into a center of wellness where people are getting fit around other people who are healthy. We're partnering with Youth Haven to open Simcoe County's first transitional housing unit for youth. And so what transitional housing is, because this is a term that not everyone's familiar with, these aren't youth that are in crisis, but these are youth that are coming out of households that were in crisis or are still in crisis. So it's a young person who has a job, who's trying to make that pro-social turn in life, but doesn't have the benefit of a family like what you provide your families with, the stability. And so they will be paying rent, they will be engaged in life skills courses, and they'll be living in subsidized rental on the third floor of the YMCA facility with a separate entrance to provide them dignity of their own private accommodation. But again, we're so excited for this partnership with Youth Haven because this will be the first truly Simcoe-wide transitional house unit. Right now, Youth Haven, I believe, has 4 transitional beds within their emergency shelter. If you think about that, it's very hard to transition out of emergency when you're living and breathing and sleeping with young people who are in crisis. So to have these 2 programs separate is so important. And then finally, we'll also be housing the Simcoe and Muskoka cancer programs, rehabilitation program in this facility as well, very similar to our cardiac rehab program. So we're excited about those partnerships because this center not just strengthens the Y's capacity, but also our community partners to do good in the community. Next slide. Finally, and Anna spoke to this a little bit, when we went out and engaged our community, engaged our members to better understand where the YMCA needs to be located, and Jan spoke so well of this in the video, we heard loud and clear that it needed to be in downtown, and it really needed actually to be in the west end of our downtown. I'm not here to comment on the reasoning behind closing Barrie Central. But when that school closed, X number of years ago, we removed a positive pro-social element of that end of our downtown core, creating a cavity. And we are proud that the YMCA can be a part of rejuvenating and redeveloping that west end of our downtown, creating a positive pro-social gateway that nicely bookends the east end of downtown, the good side of the tracks. From a business development perspective, this will be bringing 800 to 1,000 people into our downtown core daily. From a foot traffic perspective, when we presented the VIA, as soon as we presented that number, we got lots of smiles and nods. This is going to have a positive impact on our downtown. And then, from the perspective of creating employment opportunities, as Anna said, we are one of the largest employers in Simcoe County. But this project itself, because it's part of a residential development as well, is actually literally going to create thousands of human hours in employment opportunities in our downtown core. Next slide. So this is what your new YMCA will look like. That is at the corner of Bradford Street and I guess and where Simcoe Street currently ends. So at the corner of Bradford and Dunlop will be park space working around the creek. But our YMCA will then be there, and you can see it'll be adjacent to the facade of the Prince of Wales School, which will remain up as a part of public park in our display. We've signed an agreement of purchase and sale. We signed that in January 2019. We'll be launching our capital campaign in the fall. We take ownership of the property officially in 2020, and we intend to have shovel in the ground by the end of 2020, with a goal to open our new facility in 2022. Next slide, please. I'll go through a quick walk through the facility. So everything in blue is public space. Everything in gold would be for our members, our membership programs. So on the left side, we have a youth senior hub, so space we can deliver pro-social programming for youth, and where our partners can offer pro-social programming for youth. When that's not used, I feel like Joe Pesci in the movie My Cousin Vinny. When that's not in use by youth, then we'll be able to offer also senior programming in the mornings to make use of that space all day long, and our partners will as well. Our youth services offices will be on that floor, and then we'll also have an open atrium, a cafe, and then as we move over to the membership side, that's where we'll have our full-size gymnasium, there'll be an indoor playground, child minding space, change rooms, 2 swimming pools. And again, it is so important. We spend a lot of time focusing on that youth outreach side and on that social outreach side, but again, if we think of Barrie growing, or downtown Barrie growing to 26,000 people, having a recreation center with these amenities is so critical for that to be a healthy neighborhood. Next slide, please. As we move to the second floor, you see a full 100-meter track above the gymnasium, very large conditioning space, fitness studios, and then also public meeting spaces for service clubs or for other organizations to make use of, permanent space for our health and wellness partners from RVH, as well as a little bit of admin space. And then as we move to the third floor with a separate staircase and elevator entrance, we would have our transitional housing unit in partnership with Youth Haven. So moving on to the next slide. So as Anna said or alluded to, we are launching our capital campaign in the fall. And this capital campaign will not be about bricks and mortar. It's going to be about the real faces of our community, the real stories of 100 different people who have benefited from the YMCA. So if you'll tolerate me, I think I'm close to time here, but in the top left corner, that's our friend Nathan. Nathan was born, I believe, 2.5 months premature. He spent a good chunk of his first year at a NICU. And in our YMCA childcare programs, he is thriving today, and every day parents are just so thankful that he's having this incredible positive experience where he's coming home and developing. And when he entered our childcare programs, he was so far delayed, and he's now up to par with all of our peers and really, really thriving in our centers. If we go across the top, we have Mo. Many of you may know Mo. Mo is a business owner in the east end of Barrie. He owns several different pizza joints. When Mo came to Canada, he knew no one, and his first stop was YMCA Immigrant Services, and that's where Mo became connected to his community. And his quote there was that when he knew when he needed anything, the Y was the place that he went. If we go to our bottom left, we have another new Canadian, Mildred. Mildred came to Canada from Cuba, again with no family, not even speaking English. She came in through our English as a second language programs, started volunteering at the front desk at the Barrie Y, eventually became a fitness instructor, and has had such an incredible, what a wonderful full cycle story. Mildred's been one of our most incredibly impactful it's been to structures across the coast of the area and Innisfil over the years. And then finally, in the bottom right, we have Katarina. Katarina was a young person in crisis, and through the YMCA's employment programs, really turned a corner and is now gainfully employed, but more importantly, has the confidence she needs to be successful in life. This is what this campaign is about. It's not about square footage, it's not about bricks and mortar, it's about these 4 faces, these 4 stories. And I thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak to it today, and it's got just a few more comments that we.
Just end off before we take a couple of your questions. I'm glad we were able to share our 100 Reasons Why campaign. I hope that when you see the campaign, you think about the stories and the people, and perhaps you have your own stories about your own why experience. So we're delighted that we're able to share that with you. I just want to close off again before comments. We are thrilled to be making this very significant investment into the health of our community. And it's the thing that we only do an opportunity to do once every 50 or 60 years. And so we know it's going to be a tremendous asset to the community. And I'd like to, Brian Tamlin, who's my co-chair, I think he likes to talk about, I'm just going to quote him, I'm not going to quote him well, but I'm going to try. He really speaks to the partnerships that are evident in this particular project. And it's those partnerships that allow us really to do the community building that he talks about. And the community building really is about, we've got scarce resources. And how do we leverage those resources and impact more people? And I think that's what we're the most excited about when we launch this project. So without, thank you so much for your time today. We so appreciate it. We'll open up for questions. Thank you.
I was part of the presentation board last year. Jordan, could you tell the group how much the Y is asking us for?
We were told not to, so. Yeah.
This will be discussed at the committee meetings.
Yeah, I mean, I can say that we are hoping that the 3 clubs combined at Crossberry would consider a gift at our naming rights level. So we have naming rights available for 100,000 or more. We would hope that the Rotary Club would be able to take a leadership role with a gift in and around $500,000 between the 3 clubs. Pledged over 7 years, if that's doable.
Yeah, and again, I think our purpose today really was to educate. We're doing a lot of that, and I think people will hear, when they hear about what we do, to be honest, our donors are really, they're giving to our project because of our mission. So we didn't come here with a specific ask, we really just wanted to let you know what we do.
Sorry, I saw Robin laugh.
My turn. Anna and Brian, the investment in the Y and the payback from the Y, the youth and young people and people in general that you will keep out of our healthcare system, that you will keep out of our criminal justice system, and the costs that will be associated with dealing with them there, as opposed to the prevention that the Y will produce or supply, is a no-brainer. It's a great investment in the community.
So not only a question, but a fantastic statement. Thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate your support always.
I was told yes and ask questions. So I had a meeting with Brian about this project, so most of my questions were answered, but one came to mind during your presentation. Because the 4th stream of our infrastructure funding provincially is recreation centers, just like this one, be eligible. My question is about your basketball court, and whether or not it would be big enough to host tournaments in Barrie, because there's been case after case where we had the opportunity to have bigger stadiums for bigger events, and it hadn't happened. So how big will this one be? Will be able to host those types of things?
So it is a full-size basketball court. It isn't a shortened court. Currently, our plans do not fit in stadium seating. However, with the support of our provincial government, I'm sure we could find the square footage for some rural area. I think especially in the downtown core, I don't know that that's the best space for that. But it will be a full-size basketball court. So to that end, it probably could be working with the city and with Georgian to host basketball tournaments where we have multiple sites working together, because it will be a full-size regulation basketball court. But again, if the government would like to provide the funding to expand.
Can you tell me the layout of the land? Was the track Is the track still in existence or will not be in existence?
Oh,
The outdoor track?
So that's, thank you. So the question was the old red story field, right? So that was in a land swap between the city and the developer, FIP Development. So that actually will be developed for towers. So there'll be 3 residential towers on that property as well as a parking garage. The Y will have exclusive use of one of those floors of the parking garage for our members and our participants, which is great. And the other piece would be that those people living in those towers, we're working on a partnership where we would be their amenities. They'll actually not be looking at building a pool and a health center. So to that end, we're excited about that partnership. But yeah, the field has been purchased or will be gone as part of that land swap with the developer. We have a 100-meter running track on the indoor of new YMCA, and for the right price, Bob, we could put a fire.
First off, I'd like to say that what the Y does is a needed service, and thank you for being involved. I was asked to look into the ask, if you will, earlier this year from our committee. One of the things that came up that I haven't been able to ascertain is my understanding that you're looking to build a 72,000 square foot facility. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you're looking for a $36 million
That's our budget for the
campaign.
building. Yeah.
That works out to $500 a square foot. Generally, buildings like what you're talking about will come out to about 200 to 200 and a quarter per square foot. Could you explain the difference, please?
So there's 3 different elements to that. What's not included in that square footage is parking, right? And we are contributing towards that parking tower, which is going to be covered parking. So there's significant input into that as well. But the other piece is building YMCA, especially a YMCA where almost a quarter of the square footage on the main floor is a pool, has an incredible impact on the building costs. So yeah, the pools are not cheap to build, and that really does drive up our prices. So it is a combination of the aquatic center with 2 separate tanks, as well as the element of parking, which the parking garage is not included in 72,000 square feet. So the cost of parking is included in the 36 million, not included in 72,000 square feet.
No more questions?
What's the status of the current Y sale of current property?
So we have rezoned that property, and we have an agreement for sale of that property. We will be, actually our development partners on that site will be looking at building towers, beginning construction within the next 12 months. However, their building is phased in such that we can keep our doors open and continue to offer programming up until the point that we are moving to our new location. It's challenging, and that is a tired building, and it has certainly served us well. And so we're having to make constant, difficult decisions on what gets repaired and what do we start shutting down as we start sunsetting that facility. We want to make sure that we're operating in a way that is responsible. And so to invest $3 million into a facility that you're going to be closing in 3 years is difficult. But as of today, we continue to operate, and we have an agreement in place that allows us to operate for 4 years past the point of shovel in the ground with the development on that site. Does that answer your question, Tom? Thanks.
On behalf of the Rotary Club, I'd like to thank Brian and Anna for a very interesting talk. For me personally, as a child of an immigrant, I recognize the importance of somewhere that is recognized and known and welcoming to new settlers to our country. So I think that is a very high value to our community. As Director of Innovation, I always feel inspired by organizations who have a clear why, W-H-Y. The YMCA does have a very clear why. It recognizes the value of making everyone feel loved, included, and dignified. And that is so important. We forget that because many of us are blessed, so we don't think how important it is to feel dignity no matter your socioeconomic background. So I hope that the club will decide to encourage you. That's my personal opinion, just putting it in there. And just reminding everyone that it's an amazing feat to have an integrated view to development. We often think in silos. You are taking an integrated approach with a view for employment, inclusiveness, accessibility, dignity, and one thing you didn't mention, but I think is very much needed for the downtown core, but for our city in general, is pride. We are so hard on ourselves in Barrie. I don't come from Barrie, and I've seen it. And I used to think that of Barrie. Now I'm part of the community, and I think this will give us even more pride to the downtown core. So thank you.